from Tel Aviv by senior journalist Yeshaya Rosenman. Yeshaya Rosenman is joining us live from Tel Aviv. Yeshaya, very good evening to you from here. And we would want to understand from you what's really expected of the Biden visit, first from Tel Aviv, which happens tomorrow.
Yes, good evening. So President Biden will be landing tomorrow morning for a brief visit in Israel. He will be 7 hours total, from 10 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. He will only be visiting Tel Aviv. He will not be visiting Jerusalem's capital, Israel's capital, Jerusalem, only in Tel Aviv at the military headquarters in downtown Tel Aviv. There are a few primary objectives. One, which is unclear, it obviously will not be concluded tomorrow, but it's unclear if there will be any developments, is an issue of a hostage deal. Israel is counting roughly 200 people taken hostage. Some are actually American citizens. So he will be looking into a possible negotiation of a hostage deal, at least the beginning of it, and looking out for the American citizens who are hostage. That is one issue. The other issue is the humanitarian issue. Israel had previously cut off water, gas, and commodities from entering Gaza. Not all of Gaza's water, actually a minority, less than 50% of Gaza's water and electric come from Israel, but we had all cut it off. Now they are ensuring that the supply of water and gas will be renewed, and that different commodities will enter through the Rafah crossing on the Egyptian border. From the Egyptian side, they're looking for the Israeli government's okay for that. That is the second issue, the humanitarian issue. This also includes the establishment of a safe zone, a proposed safe zone where people can come to escape the fighting and without fear of being attacked.
Right.
It's yet to be clarified whether Hamas will actually allow this, since using human shields is a primary component of its military strategy. So that is that. The Americans have threatened that if Hamas does not allow it,
Right,
there will be consequences, but we have yet to see how that will develop. The third issue that you have mentioned is the regional development, the regional calculations. In other words, America had already brought two aircraft carriers, two of its most advanced aircraft carriers, the USS Gerald Ford and the USS Dwight Eisenhower, close to the maritime border of Lebanon. And this is with one objective only, to deter the Lebanese proxy of Hezbollah from joining the Iranian proxy in Lebanon, the Hezbollah militia, from joining the war. Now, America is trying its best to contain this conflict and not have it spread to the other vying superpowers, being Russia, China, and Iran, who all are keenly aware of what is going on. Iran is the primary backer, giving Hamas and Hezbollah both their technology and armaments. And America wants to make sure, as much as it can, that this conflict is contained and does not develop beyond that. And it was also suggested in some reports that Secretary of State Blinken, who was here yesterday, demanded that Israel not attack first, not attack a preemptive strike on Hezbollah forces up north. Hezbollah has a tremendous arsenal of missiles aimed at Israel, and a preemptive strike would inevitably be to destroy as much as possible of those missiles. So far, Israel has not. Yeah, these reports were denied, but so far Israel has not attacked Lebanon, has not done a full force preemptive strike.
Okay, Yeshaya, my next question, staying with the Biden visit, is that reports suggest that after Tel Aviv, he's traveling, the US president is traveling to Amman, and he's likely to have a summit meeting there between the leaderships of Egypt, Jordan, and the Palestinian Authority there, essentially trying to impress upon perhaps that there should not be a wider conflagration, even as Israel carries out its reprisal ground offensive against the Hamas. You think this is aimed at, this diplomacy by the US president is aimed at making sure that the human suffering as it happens when the ground offensive is launched is minimized in any manner, and so that these traditional allies of the United States do not end up on the side of Iran, given the hot sentiment there on the ground?
Well, Egypt is not, I don't think there is any fear of Egypt joining the Iranian axis, since Egypt gets all its armaments and its its wheat and much of its. Egypt is deeply tied to America. It is not going to join the Iranian axis, but Egypt is the most powerful, the most important partner here to collaborate with, that America is looking to collaborate with. Yes, you mentioned correctly, the humanitarian situation is a central consideration, especially the issue of Gazans trying to leave the Gaza Strip into Egypt. That could potentially form a refugee crisis. It's really a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, because if they remain in Gaza, they will be in harm's way, and they will also remain in Gaza after the war. And who knows who will rule there and what kind of radical elements that might continue to thrive there. If they leave Gaza, then they would go into Egypt and to North Africa and other Arab countries, and who knows where these people would end up. They might be again crossing the Mediterranean in boats. So yes, Egypt, the Prime Minister of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, is the prime figure that President Biden is looking to speak to. Mahmoud Abbas is a largely corrupt and ineffective politician in his final years. And the president of Jordan is again a lesser figure than the prime minister of Egypt. The king of Jordan, pardon, is a lesser figure than the prime minister of Egypt.
Right. I wonder, Yeshaya, if the sidelining and the compromised situation of Mahmoud Abbas is something for which perhaps Israel is paying the price, the huge price that Israel has paid. But my last question to you before you go. With the surprise element gone in the ground offensive, with all the forces amassed along the southern border of the Gaza Strip, what's going to be the military objective of the Israeli Defense Forces, really?
Yeah, so that is the million-dollar question, so to speak. If a clear objective that can be proposed would be reconquering the entire Gaza Strip, capturing the entire leadership of Hamas and bringing them to trial and executing them and replacing them with another regime. That is a goal that is easy to formulate. You can formulate what it looks like. Any other goals of installing some sort of Palestinian leadership from Mahmoud Abbas or Jordanian or Egyptian is already something that is hard to envision, and it's of doubtful efficacy. So there is one simple goal that can be articulated, that is reconquering the Gaza Strip and installing some sort of Israeli rule. Any other goal is hard to articulate and unclear how it will play out. The Americans also, it should be noted, traditionally have restrained Israel from striking out too hard on Gaza. So it's also a question of if and when American pressure will mount to and other European powers to stop the offensive. So these are things yet to be determined, at least publicly.
All right. Thank you so much, Yeshaya Rosenman, there joining us live from Jerusalem, in fact, not Tel Aviv. And we move on to some ground reports that have been filed by our team.